Hey y'all, my name is Jay Denon. I'm a band director at Coleman Middle School in Tampa, Florida, and I'm going to talk about how I use the Brass for Beginners Natural Trumpet to begin my wind instrument pedagogy. That's right, wind instrument, not just brass, not woodwind. I use this for all my students, and we approach all of these concepts I'm going to show you with the mouthpiece and the instrument on here first. Then we replicate those same drills once we split the band up into flutes, clarinets, saxophones, French horns, trombones, tubas, euphoniums. It's all works together and gives you less distractions or hurdles to cross and allow the kids to make the coordination clicks necessary. I'm blessed to have the wheel in my school where we spend about 2 weeks trying out the electives beforehand. So when the kids come to me in band in January, they've spent 2 weeks with me in the fall doing these mouthpiece fundamentals and on the mouthpiece and the instrument. So then when we start band in January, I can do only like 1 week of trumpet mouthpiece stuff, maybe 2 weeks while we also try out instruments and figure out what everyone's going to play instead of a longer curriculum. So I'm blessed and only have to spend a little time reviewing this because I spent 2 weeks on it. However, if I did not have the 2-week wheel trial period in the fall, I guarantee you I would be buying an entire band room set of these to start every single one of my beginners on for the first 2 or 3 weeks of school, then do instrument tryouts, then do mouthpiece drills on their real instruments. I would give up 3 weeks of kids being on a clarinet or a flute so that we could learn this stuff together and set everyone up for fundamental success. So here's my process. It takes about 3 days of just mouthpiece drills and then 3 days of instrument drills. I'm going to demo on the plastic mouthpiece and a little bit on the brass mouthpiece so that you can see the difference. The first thing we do on the mouthpiece, lips closed naturally. You're going to have a couple kids go, and you can eliminate the duck face. You're going to have a couple kids who can't stop laughing. Calm them down. Some kids are going to, for some reason, turn into grandma's dentures. Bring it back. Nothing different. Total natural lip closed. Tell them to put the mouthpiece smack dab in the middle of their lips. I am not a fan of the 50-50 embouchure. I'm a humongous fan of the 60-40. More importantly than 60-40, I'm a fan of the entire flesh of the lip, where I have pink lip and then you can see the skin above my lip. I want all of this lip flesh in the mouthpiece. All of the top lip has to go in the mouthpiece, which for most people is about 60-40. You have variations. I have a huge variation you'll see, but I try to get all my kids about a 60-40 or top lip in the mouthpiece. So they'll place it, maybe I move it up, maybe I move it a little bit somewhere, but here's my placement. Mine's really high. Most of my students, I put around here. So then we'll take that spot and we're going to hold it and then do the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Boom. They can feel where it is. Put your mouthpiece right back in your wiggle spot. Go around the room. Check that they're all still there. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're back. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're back. Then the next step is just air. Just air into the mouthpiece. Then take the just air into the mouthpiece. Slowly close the lips. This is when kids will discover the dying duck. It is essential that you start with an air. We hoo into the notes. We don't poo into the notes. We hate poo-poo. We love doo-doo. We'll get into that in a little bit. We hate poo-poo. Air first, lips close into the sound. They find the dying duck. It's awesome. Spend a lot of time on that. Next process is going to be fast air, firm lips, sliding the mouthpiece on. This is the duck who died of helium. Then the next trick we'll try to learn is the duck who died of diarrhea. Loose lips, hot air. After that, we try to take the coordination. Any student can come from a note and go lower. Whatever pitch they land on, they can go lower. Not every kid can go back up. Not every kid can go higher. But you can always go down. So we find that coordination of going down. Have you ever seen the cartoon Roadrunner? There's a bird being chased by the coyote. The coyote creates an elaborate scheme. The coyote tries to blow up the Roadrunner. He fails everything, blows himself up. He falls off the side of the cliff, and we hear... boom! We spend a lot of time building that coordination of falling down. The next process of pedagogy, any kid can come back home. You can always find your way back home. So we're going to start here, fall, bring it right back home. Bungee cord. I don't care if the kids are on that pitch. I don't care if they're... We're trying to find the coordination of the instrument. Once the kids start making some things click, then they can go into whatever register you want them, whether the first note you have them learn is concert F or whatever. They can find the coordination, then they can find the actual pitch you want. After we're able to do the bungee cord, we'll do the full police siren. After we've done the police siren, then we introduce articulation. We love smooth doo-doo. I think this is the most important concept of all brass pedagogy or woodwind pedagogy. They have to have fully connected airstream. No pause in the air. Check out my smooth doo-doo. The air never stops. The tongue flicks the roof of the mouth. Do-do-do-do. You can't let the doo-doo break before it hits the water bowl. Do-do-do-do. You want one long doo-doo that wraps all the way around the toilet. It's no good. They're not supporting their air through the whole sound. Not supporting their sound with air through the whole time. It's the most important part, I think, in brass pedagogy. Essential elements, number 1, and essential elements, number 2, have to be done perfectly, and then the rest of the book is piece of cake. Everything they do after that is easy because they've gone into the habit of every note being supported with an airstream. After we do that, we try to do the bungee cord with smooth doo-doo. Then, Mary had a little lamb. Then, mouthpiece pedagogy is good. We are ready to go to the instruments. I do the same thing once we have clarinets, flutes in our hands, flutes putting their finger into the head joint, being able to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. We'll do barrel close or end of the flute close with lip slurs and stuff too. Instead of bungee cord high, low, high, flutes will go dee, doo, wee, woo. But I want all of my clarinets and saxophones to be able to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on their barrel or on the neck of the mouthpiece, because it shows they've built coordination. You have to work really hard to make sure their jaws aren't doing it and they're just biting more, and that's happening from their corners and their depressors doing the work. But super invaluable. After we do that, you have to take it and transfer it straight to the instrument, which is where brass for beginner is so beautiful. It doesn't have the distraction of valves, it doesn't have the distraction of water keys, it doesn't have the distraction of weight, it doesn't have the distraction of awkward gripping and how do you hold this thing. Take our mouthpiece, gently place in, tiny twist. Hamburger grip. I like to put 2 hands instead of the traditional grip. Fingers on the middle braces. Grab your hamburger. And we'll do all those same things. Find our wiggle spot. Pull away. Then the dying cow. After the dying cow, then we have the cow who died of helium. Then the cow who died of diarrhea. The road runner. Boom! Then the bungee cord. Siren. Then we go to smooth doo-doo. Not. That's booty. You let the doo-doo break. One long doo-doo. Siren doo-doo. Then Mary Had a Little Lamb gets hard because the kids aren't playing all the way up here. They're not there yet. Small difference. So that's beginning brass pedagogy for me, and why the Natural Trumpet makes it so easy to do first. If I didn't already have 2 weeks with the kids doing this, I would take 2 or 3 weeks of my own August beginning band to do the exact same process with all of my students, then move to then do instrument tryouts, then move to full instruments. I'm a big believer in this. I've seen massive results musically, intuitively, with my students, and my students have a love for fundamentals. We spend at least half of every class period on fundamentals, and I never have a kid ask me why. They do it, and they understand the benefit. Couple things. I was using the plastic mouthpiece because the kids, I think they're great and they're fine, and they look cool. They don't get scratched and scarred, and the kids have less issues with it. So a couple differences to hear in sound. I think it's a very big deal to make sure you can hear that whistle. So when you do just air, you can hear that sound, or you can get the kids to open up to an O and hear that sound, which is way better. You might have to do this. Have your teeth that far apart. Then try and get an open whistle from everyone. Then we close the lips, not the teeth, to get the sound. And hopefully you can hear the airstream in my buzz instead of but there is a center line of air going through the end of the mouthpiece. It's not just an airy buzz, there is a defined pillar of air coming out. Instead of it's major important thing to happen on the mouthpiece. Much more audible on the metal mouthpiece, but still noticeable here. On the instrument, way more definition to the sound of the metal mouthpiece, way easier production in terms of forward air usage with the metal mouthpiece, but great, smooth, easy with the plastic. And in the first couple weeks of band, kids aren't really going to catch the difference, and this is easy to maintain, won't get scratched up, and is lighter. So hopefully you enjoyed and learned something to help you with brass pedagogy, or something to help sway you into trying out these brass for beginner natural trumpets. Thank you, and enjoy making music.